What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. Got some. Well, I'm gonna have a lot of reviews coming your way because there's a lot of things I need to review over this 4th of July weekend. So, with that being said, happy early 4th of July. But to start us off, we're gonna be reviewing the season finale for The Flash, which is called Negative Part 2. So, with that being said, I'd like to give a synopsis first before we get into it. With the Flash still reeling from everything that just happened, the rest of the team rallies to support him when he needs it the most. Now, there are some like earlier plot threads that comes to a head here, some payoffs to earlier things, like some stuff that happened in Crisis, all that, and some very good setups. So we basically Negative Part 2 picks up immediately where Part 1 left off, with Barry just having lost Iris. Thawne is there, and they two get into a verbal confrontation. Some very good dialogue, some very good taunting. Something happens. Some people show up. A conversation is had. Someone disappears. I don't want to spoil, what happened in case you haven't seen the episode yet. Because you could be like me. Sometimes, even though the episode came out a day or two, it's still like I'm still catching up on episodes. Like I caught up on Legacies and some other shows. I still gotta catch up with Walker. Like I still haven't seen episodes. So you could be like me. You could be a day or two behind and be like, okay, I finally got some time. Let me go check out this episode of Stranger Things or The Flash. So I don't like to spoil anything. But yeah. So for the rest of the episode basically goes into what is the next plan? What plan are we going to formulate? What are we going to do to stop Thawne and the negative forces? Well, that's where Cecile comes into play. We finally got a payoff with that storyline into why the power she was given and how she leveled up that way and what it actually meant to the grander scheme of what's going on. And it actually turns out she played an integral. I think I said that word right? Did I say it right? Anyway, she played a very important part into the main plot. And basically her part, the story they was telling with her leveling up powers, played a major part in this battle against Thawne and the negative forces. Barry goes through it, as you would think, as one would losing his wife. He goes through a turbulent time, trying to be the man he's supposed to be, and kind of wanting to kick some butt. He wants some payback. What else could I say without giving away everything? Mina also goes through there. I want to talk more about Mina because I'll get to it, but it's a reason why I want to talk about her too. So I mean, one of the things I will say why I want to talk to you about it, because they do tell you in this episode basically how and why you get speed powers. If you get speed powers, they tell you they give you an actual explanation to how that actually happens, and whether or not if it's a choice or not, whether or not if you can actually give yourself speed or not. Like if they do answer that question. They tell you if it happens one way or the other. So that was a cool part. But yeah, this episode, the rest of the episode basically goes into these little points. There's a little character appearance, I should say. So a character of the Arrowverse do make their appearance in this in this episode, in this episode, who haven't been seen since the crisis, not crisis, but Armageddon. I was about to say the crisis crossover, the Armageddon crossover. A person does appear in this episode, and it's a payoff to both Iris and Joe, I would say. If that makes sense, if you want to figure out who I'm talking about, just try to look up who could be connected to Iris and Joe. But yeah, this person plays an integral part into what's going on and helping Iris and Joe, and so yeah, that's a little part about that. We do get an understanding of finally. I will give them props for that. Though I'm a little ticked off that it took the final episode to give us an actual full explanation about Iris' time sickness. You would think that would have came sooner, but we actually got finally the full on explanation of why it happened and basically what was the cure for it. So there's two more people make a guest appearance in this episode. In total, if you want to know if you want to know how many guest appearances in this episode for the season finale, you got. I would say yeah, that's a lot of counting. It's close to around 7. It's about 7. Yeah, about 7 guest appearances in this episode. Maybe 8, close to that, around that number. Don't mind me counting. It was so. It was. I was about to say 4, but then I realized all who made a guest appearance in this episode. So it was like, oh yeah, it really can't be 4. It was more than 4. So yeah, it's between, it's between 5 and 8. Chester and Allegra really didn't play too much of a role in this as I would hope. But I mean, for what it wasn't a bad thing. I do like the other callback to Armageddon, other than one of the guest appearances that haven't been seen since Armageddon, was the fact that when Barry and Thawne finally had their climactic battle, it was Armageddon was referenced and they fight, and that should tell you what I'm getting at with the Armageddon reference, and because it has something to do with they fight, and when they fight, and there's a scene where somebody was like, "Oh my God, they starting Armageddon, it's Armageddon," or they started Armageddon again. People do, both Barry and Thawne level up pretty good. The last thing I said before I give my verdict is that at first I wasn't gonna say I was very keen on Thawne's costume, but then I was like, you know what, it makes sense because what they're trying to say with his costume. You could see it as corrupted Reverse Flash. You could call him. That's what I like to call him, corrupted Reverse Flash, because he's become a corrupted. He's not even the Reverse Flash. He's not just a Reverse Flash. He's like a corrupted version of him. So, yeah. With that being said, I liked everything about the episode. The episode was good. It was a good way. I liked the cliffhanger. Cause the cliffhanger obviously is leading to so many fan theories about what that cliffhanger was setting up for the next villain. For the next season. We do know that there will be at least 2 big bads next season. There's also a little cliffhanger with I was about to say Iris, with Caitlin and Chilblain. I think the only thing I didn't like about this episode was how the anticlimactic way that Thawne was defeated. But it was better than what we got in Superman and Lois. Like I said, Superman and Lois season finale climactic battle, and this one was both underwhelming. but one was more whelming than the other. Like the Flash climactic final battle was at least a little bit better because there at least was a battle, and at least was higher stakes because it wasn't like it was just so quickly and the other person couldn't do anything. No, it was it was at least the stakes was higher, and it was an actual battle versus what Superman and Lois did. So that's the one that I did like, but it was still underwhelming at the least. It still was underwhelming. It was like it was good, but then when that final part came, it was just like, I mean, I understood what you were trying to do, but it was kind of. But then, it was poetic justice too. But okay. But with that being said, I would give this season finale of season 8 negative part 1. Part 2. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. It was a good episode. It was intriguing. It set up very. I think it set up. I want to say awesomely or perfectly, but it was a very good setup for the next season. And though the only thing is it kind of muddled the storylines and kind of stumbled its way through, with the story and stuff of this season. But at least it got there. It ended well throughout the stumbles. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode of The Flash. And if you enjoy my review, you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoy this review so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, hit that thanks button, and hit that join button if you want to see me react to your favorite shows, but only if you want to. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content, but they go anywhere because like I said, got a lot more reviews, and I'm gonna try to squeeze in some reactions and eventually some gameplays. So peace out.